Cambodia has so much to offer those looking to settle down there, but will your money last? Today we will discuss why people love the Land of Wonder, how much you can expect to spend each month by comparing a low versus high budget, and exploring how long $280,000 could last in retirement. After hitting Coast Fire, my wife and I decided to move abroad and have traveled to over 10 countries so far. To not miss out on more living and retiring abroad content, please subscribe to join our journey. So why do people gravitate towards Cambodia, the Land of Wonder? There are 3 big reasons that I want to share with you now. Number 1 is that you get to enjoy a high standard of living for less money. This is when compared to a Western country such as the USA. So essentially your purchasing power increases, which means you can afford more amenities in life and enjoy them more frequently too. For example, living in a really nice apartment, being able to eat out a lot, getting cheap and relaxing massages, or ordering food delivery on a regular basis if you don't feel like going out. The list goes on and on. In a nutshell, friends, your money can last much longer if you use it in Cambodia. Alright, as for number 2, you get to enjoy Cambodia's incredibly rich culture, beautiful environment, and the happy people. And boy oh boy does Cambodia not disappoint with its many breathtaking cultural sites, such as the world's largest religious temple complex located in Siem Reap called Angkor Wat. It's a famous UNESCO heritage site. This place alone is so large and the temples are so intricate that it would take a very long time to see it all, which I mean is great for settling down in retirement and having extra time to enjoy the culture. My wife and I noticed the environment was super green, beautiful, and warm in Cambodia. The local Khmer people are some of the nicest and happiest people I've ever met. So we know that building and maintaining relationships in retirement is super important, but you'll be sure to make many friends in Cambodia because English is spoken quite well in the major cities and tourist areas. I had some really interesting and fun conversations when interacting with the people there. And number 3, the process to obtain a long-term visa is very straightforward and super low cost compared to other retirement visas in surrounding Southeast Asian countries. There's no requirement to show things such as proof of income, insurance, and so on. For more details on the ER visa type for people aged 55 and older, please check out the other videos I have on this channel. So how much money do you need to cover expenses each month? A low versus high budget comparison. Now most of us have probably seen people online that live on $1,000 or less a month in Cambodia. So I mean that technically would be quite a low budget, right? The range for a low budget could be anywhere between $800 to $1,200 to cover monthly expenses and spending. Keep in mind we're talking about the cost for one individual. It of course will increase if your spouse or others join you. And the amount you spend each month will really depend on how you live or your daily spending, where you live, and how large your living space is. So for this video, instead of sticking to the $800 to $1,200 range I just mentioned, let's bump up the low or modest budget to $1,300 for a single person each month. Okay, moving on to the higher or more comfortable budget, which would allow for quite a bit more spending, which is $1,900 a month. Without further ado, let's jump into the main event. How long could $280,000 last? A low or that modest budget versus high or more comfortable budget. Please friends, make sure you watch until the end of this section to understand how important it is to not rely only on your retirement savings such as a 401k. Okay, today we'll look at calculations using the Nerd Wallet, How Long Will My Retirement Savings Last calculator. Keep in mind that the $280,000 amount refers to the money in your retirement accounts. First up is the low or modest budget of $1,300 of distributions each month to cover living expenses in Cambodia. Here we have 6% as the annual investment return rate. Why 6%, you may ask? First, let's review the S&P 500 stock market index, which tracks the top leading companies' performance. We can see from Investopedia.com, the S&P 500 has delivered an average annual return of 10.13% since 1957. Now I know what you're thinking, what about inflation? We can see that when adjusting for inflation, the real return drops to 6.37%. So to be safe friends, we will choose 6%. However, remember that this is an average for over the years. Yes, there will be years when there are lower returns or higher inflation. As mentioned previously friends, please stick around to the end of this section for more about what to do during years of economic downturns or lower returns. Okay, back to the calculation. So with the 6% return rate, an estimated 20% tax rate, and having that $280,000 saved up in retirement accounts. Guess how long your money could last? A whopping 41 years.
Nice.
Now let's jump into the high, more comfortable budget of $1,900 per month. The other information such as annual investment return rate, tax rate, and amount saved up will be the same. In this scenario, your money could potentially last 18 years, which is significantly less than the low budget, right? So if you want it to last longer, you could up the retirement savings amount to $380,000 to last 33 years.
Nice.
I'll make sure to leave a link for you to this calculator in the description below so you can play around with different numbers and scenarios. Okay, so it's good and important to be prepared for times of economic downturn in the stock market. So instead of relying solely on your retirement accounts such as 401ks and IRAs, I recommend doing the following two things. Number one, have extra cash in a high yield savings account. This account is separate from the stock market and it has a higher interest rate than a traditional savings account. What's so important is that it can be used to cover unplanned expenses or help if there's an economic downturn. A good rule of thumb is to have 2+ years of expenses saved up, just in case. And the second thing that can help during economic downturn is to create multiple sources of income. Hopefully by retirement, you can have some extra streams of income such as Social Security or business income. If you haven't already, and no matter what your age is, I highly recommend going online and creating your own Social Security account at ssa.gov. Once set up, you can easily see how many working credits you have and whether or not you have enough to qualify for Social Security payments in retirement. I set up my account and I was super happy to find out that I had the required 40 working credits to receive benefits. Other wonderful news is that Cambodia is on the Social Security International Direct Deposit list, meaning that you can receive Social Security payments while outside of the United States. So yeah, definitely go online and check it out for yourself. As for creating other business or investment income streams, my wife and I started investing in real estate in our early 20s and currently have 2 rental properties, providing some extra passive cash flow each month. Of course, it doesn't have to be real estate, but take some time to think about ways you could create more than one revenue stream in retirement. Both of these two tactics, having a separate savings fund in a high yield savings account and multiple streams of income, will surely help us have more peace of mind and financial security, especially when living away from one's home country. Now I want to share with you 3 more reminders before moving and retiring in Cambodia. Number 1, get out of debt. So my wife and I worked super hard to have me graduate with my MBA student debt free. Besides the mortgage, we don't have any other debts. During college, I went to school full time and also held a full-time job. We cut down on expenses, I moved up in the workplace, and so on to help us pay off debt. The feeling of being debt free is unlike any other. It's truly freeing. This is especially important in retirement to not have consumer debt, which can become a real burden. The second reminder is to avoid risky business ventures, especially when we're in new places or countries. I've always been a huge pursuer of side hustles and making extra cash on the side. This is a fun and meaningful thing to do, especially when we're providing real value to others. Just be careful when retiring abroad to not jump into business activities too quickly, and ensure you fully understand local laws, regulations, the competition, and any other risks involved. Remember though that not all business ventures need to be expensive or risky, such as starting a YouTube channel or a blog, which is very low cost and can be very rewarding. And reminder number 3, make sure you visit Cambodia beforehand. I mentioned this tip in many of my videos because it's just that important. You won't really have an idea of whether Cambodia is a good fit unless you visit there yourself in person first. Just like when you see a picture of somewhere beautiful, you won't get the full effect until you see it firsthand. So go visit Cambodia and make sure your stay is long enough. Scout out potential rental spots, talk with the locals and expat community, try out the food, and so on. I know this reminder may seem like a given, but it's always worth mentioning. If you enjoyed or found this video insightful, please drop a like and subscribe for more content to come shortly.